And you know, Ron Paul is the only one who really talks about these things. He's the only one who says torture is wrong, no matter what. He's the only one that says that unprovoked wars are wrong, that we shouldn't invade other countries unprovoked, as Nazi Germany did. That that the Patriot Act should be repealed. He's made that statement several times. That the Military Commissions Act and all these other unconstitutional acts and all these other unconstitutional powers that the president has accumulated should be done away with, and we should return to the Constitution the way we are supposed to. And that's why I support Ron Paul. I guess I don't have time to talk about his positions, but let me just basically say that Ron Paul, people often go overboard about his positions. Like Ron Paul wants states' rights. So people say, well, states' rights is a code word for racism. Well, no. Maybe some people use it that way, but Ron Paul does not speak in codes. He's the only one out there who's truly honest and principled, certainly on the Republican side. And he's not speaking in codes. He's saying exactly what he feels. He's saying exactly what he believes every time he opens his mouth. And even if he isn't right about everything all the time, his heart is in the right place. And that's what's so important right now, because if you vote for someone who is just there for themselves, who's just trying to get money and power through political office, they've already sold out to the people that are destroying this country little by little. And there's no hope for that person. There's no hope that that person is going to turn things around. There's no hope that Hillary Clinton is going to get us out of Iraq. There's no way. She's already saying that it might not be possible. And you know what that means. She's not going to do it. Barack Obama, I'd like to believe he's different, but I don't think so. I think he's one of the mainstream candidates, and they're all in the pockets of these people that we don't even know. We don't know who they are, but they're running the country. Is he going to get us out of Iraq? I doubt it. It's possible. I don't know what he's going to do, but I really doubt it, because even he has said that, there's nothing off the table with respect to Iran, and we all know that Iran has nothing that could possibly threaten us. We know now that the government has known for some time that they didn't have nuclear weapons, that they were not even pursuing nuclear weapons since 2003, and yet they never stopped talking about invading Iran. They never changed their mind, did they? No, they kept saying that Iran was a threat. And it's so important that we don't have that kind of politician as our president anymore, because if we don't stop them, they're going to invade Iran, and they're going to invade Venezuela, and they're going to invade every other country that stands up against the interests of the corporations that are behind our government. And if you don't think that there's something out there behind the people that you see, then I have to say you're very naive, because things are not always what they seem. And one thing that you can be sure of is that people with more money have more power. And our system is set up, since World War II, our system is set up with a lot of secrecy and a lot of inside dealings that we don't even see. So if you really think that the people out there who have billions of dollars cannot get in and influence what's going on, then you're not really paying attention, because when you have secrecy, anything can happen. Anything. That's why people are wondering about 9/11 and thinking, well, did the government do it? Did the government not do it? Well, nobody knows the truth of it. You can say that, the government did it and they did it, or you can say the government didn't do it and they didn't do it, but you're lying. You really don't know. All you know is what you saw on television, because there's too much secrecy. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if the President of the United States doesn't even know who did it, whether it was the government. because our government is so compartmentalized and it's so secret. The CIA could do something like that, and nobody would in the White House would even have to know about it. And that's what's so dangerous, is that people recognize that there's enough secrecy in our government that we really don't know what's going on for sure. And the government never investigated, because they probably didn't want to know. So that is what I think. I mean, like I say, people tend to go overboard with Ron Paul's ideas. They tend to say when he wants a free market, that it's like anarchy, that people could sell you lead and it wouldn't be against the law. That they could sell you cars that explode into flames and nothing would happen. Well, that's not true. A free market means that everyone is free to enter, that there's no regulation on how you can enter the market, on what you can sell, on what you can charge, that sort of thing. And a free market really enables the little people to compete with the big guys. And that's what's great about a free market. That's what keeps the big guys in check, is that if they abuse their customers, that someone else will take them away. And not only that, but a free market is not anarchy. A free market does not mean that consumers have no rights. That's totally different. If someone sells you something that injures you, you have every right to sue that person, take them to court, sue their pants off. If someone negligently sells something that kills another person, they're guilty of manslaughter. So, to say that a free market is in the best interest of the big corporations is not quite true. And frankly, if it was true, Ron Paul would have probably $1 billion in his campaign fund right now from the big corporations. I mean, think about it. Really, just think about it. Everyone with money is opposing Ron Paul. The big corporations, the people behind the media, they don't want you to think that he has a chance. And if his free markets were so bad for you and so good for them, then I don't think that would be the case. They would be pushing Ron Paul down our throats. And frankly, it would be easy to do because he knows so much more about monetary policy and economics. He knows so much more about the Constitution, about the world, about basic ideas of liberty and freedom, and about the rest of the world than these other guys. It's just pathetic. I mean, just one instance of that, just one example of that is when he said that the reason why the terrorists come over here is because we have been over there, which is absolutely true. You could look that up anywhere. You could go Google Osama bin Laden and find out why he has stated that he committed those attacks. You could look at a history book well, maybe not a history book. They don't talk about that stuff, but look at any article that mentions our involvement in Iran and how we overthrew the democratic government there, and how we support the tyrannical regime in Saudi Arabia, which is also one of bin Laden's big bones that he has with us. And just look at the 9/11 Commission report, as imperfect and as shallow as it might have been. It specifically talked about that very thing. It talks about how anger over our actions has come here in the form of terrorism, and look at the CIA. Do some research on the CIA and look at what they have said on the subject. So he knew all that stuff. He knew what was in the 9/11 Commission report. He knew what the CIA was saying about this whole thing. And Rudy Giuliani just looked at him and said, "We'll take that back. That's preposterous. You can't say that. That's horrible." And he had absolutely no idea what he was talking about. He had absolutely no idea about history or about our recent political dealings in the Middle East, or even about the 9/11 Commission report. He hadn't even read it. So there you go. That's why I support Ron Paul.